Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your latest instalment of the Gersnet Weekly Podcast, hosted by myself, Craig Gray, the independent Rangers podcast made for fans, by fans. And we're going to be here to dissect what's been a pretty good week for Rangers, and let's hope it gets better. And just before we introduce our guest tonight, I want to give a little message from our sponsors. That is Forrest Precision Engineering. They're a subcontract Glasgow-based engineering company who have been a big commercial supporter of Rangers for many years, and we're absolutely delighted that they're backing our podcast. You can get them over at forestprecisioneng.com, and you can also visit the Forrest Precision Executive Lounge, a stunning new hospitality area within the historic main stand. For more information on how to book this unique and intimate space, you can email the club via hospitality@rangers.co.uk. Now, I've done that. It's time to introduce my guest. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a new face on the show tonight, Mr. Scott Bradley. Scott, you nervous, mate?
Not at all, mate. Not at all. I'm very happy to be here, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, we'll get right into it. I mean, last night, what a performance for another feather in the cap of Mr. Philippe Clement. What a start the guys made. Something that really, I think, resonated with me last night, first and foremost, I think, was the backing of the fans. We've seen how disengaged people were after that Aberdeen game. Even after that, like the Livingston game, the St Mirren game, even though we won, there was a real disconnect between the fans and the club. And Philippe Clement has really sort of done well to bed that and repair that relationship in quite a short period of time, which I think is quite a remarkable achievement. And that's really the first step. You need to be able to get that relationship with the fans, and the fact that he's managed to do it is great. You know, the fact that the stadium was still full yesterday, pretty much even with, like, you know, going into injury time, despite the fact that they pulled a goal back, you know, the flags waving in injury time and stuff like that in the Broomlin, and then status quo playing at the end of the game, which was brilliant, a wee change. I mean, I just thought the fans were brilliant last night, mate.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, the atmosphere was electric. And as you said, like, that's one thing I noticed where that the atmosphere was just so positive, and there was no, like, even if a player made a mistake, there was no negativity. And obviously, we'll speak about Sam Lammers later on, but, like, yeah, it was brilliant. And the fans are fully behind Clement. And obviously, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, because I think as Rangers fans, we've got a tendency of doing that. But the signs so far are very promising under Clement. And yeah, even when Sparta Prague scored and it was 2-1, I still didn't believe that they would come back. I really didn't think that, because, like, if that was under Michael Beale, panic stations would have been kicking in. But then obviously when they scored, I was like, nah, we were never in doubt. We were always going to see that game out. And there's a real positive atmosphere around Ibrox. It's been there for a long time, and the signs are there, and the fans are really buying into what Clement is doing right now. And yeah, I couldn't be happier than now, man. Like, the last month or two has been, well, I would say the last month since Clement came in, it's been very good.
No, definitely. First half, I thought yesterday, first 20 minutes in particular were fantastic. Clement said it, and he was absolutely spot on. The best 45 minutes of football that were played since he's came in. It just seemed to be the sort of complete performance. Danilo, first of all, I wanted to talk about him. Since Clement came in, 6 games, 3 goals, 4 assists, getting a goal contribution more than one a game. It's a fantastic record. That goal yesterday that he scored, I think, summed him up, you know, chasing everything down, pressing everything, something that we never seen under Beale, but we seem to be getting back under Clement, and, you know, you had to be ready to pounce on it. And you know what, Scott, it actually reminded me a wee bit of a similar game against Sparta Prague 2 years ago, where Morelos scored the goal that was made by a mistake in their defence as well. But Danilo, he's been absolutely fantastic the last few weeks, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's been brilliant. I don't know what it is, but ever since he started wearing the mask, he's been on fire, man. No, but he has been really impressive. Like, even as you said about his goal as well, the pressing as well. Like, he was just a total thorn in the side for that Sparta Prague defence last night. And obviously, we'll get into his goal, like, I think that I believe was wrongly chopped off. But yeah, he's been a breath of fresh air, man. Like, obviously, see him, I was thinking about this last night as well. Him and Morelos are two very different strikers. Like, Danilo's not a player that would hold the ball up and really link up the play. He's a player, when he's got the ball at his feet, likes to take players on. He's got great pace about him as well, and his movement's brilliant as well. Like, he's always in the right areas, even though he's been missing quite a bit of chances, but he's in those right areas to, like, get the shot away. And I think he's going to go on and have a great season, man, because I think obviously at first when he came in, it was a bit of a slow burner. Then obviously, I think when he got that goal against St Johnstone, he got injured, and then since he came back, he's been electric. But yeah, I think it's best that he keeps his mask on because it seems to be a good luck charm for him, man.
Oh, he can't be getting rid of it now. Even when his face is completely healed and all that, there's no way he can take it off because you just know you're going to see a downpour in his performances as soon as he takes it off. Second goal as well, he gets the assist for it. Brilliant wee bit of build-up play. Balti Cantwell, the wee fake shot and then stepping inside. Brilliant finish by Cantwell. I'm really glad that he's starting to now come into form. Slightly unfortunate that we've only got one game left before an international break, but I think you can see Clement's doing this with a lot of players that have been out injured, slowly building them up and up and up. And even Cantwell last night, we'll go on to Lamer's performance in a wee bit, but I think a lot of people were unhappy that it was Cantwell that came off and not Lammers. I think that was more Clement just trying to sort of save his energy because he has came back from, a relatively medium sort of term injury. And I think it was just a case of trying to keep him, on the straight and narrow and not get too carried away with him.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, yeah. Like Todd Cantwell's been brilliant so far, and it's obviously unfortunate that we've only got one more game left and it's an international break. But yeah, because I remember also when Clement first came in, there was a lot of people thinking that he didn't really fancy Cantwell, but I think he's just given every player in the team an opportunity. It's like a clean slate. And obviously in Lammers, right, this will be very controversial. I don't think this is going to go down well, but I believe there's a player in there. See Lammers, right, I think he's good. He's just lacking confidence right now, in my opinion. He's the whipping boy right now for the support, and I feel like his build-up play is good, but it's just his end product that's letting him down.
That's true.
He's letting him down. But he's one thing about him is he doesn't hide. He always wants the ball. He always wants to try and make something happen, and he's just. And we've seen it before when players come to Rangers. We've seen it with Borna Barisic. She did not have a good first season, right? And look at what Borna's went on to achieve. He's been a good player for us, and I would actually say Borna's been one of our better players this season. I say it quietly because I know he's got a lot of haters out there, but no, I think there is a player in there with Lammers. He just needs a bit more time, and obviously look at the goal he scored against Dundee last week. I know, no disrespect, it was against Dundee, but. The guy's got ability. It's just he needs to just build up his confidence, and I feel like that's what Clement's doing when he's not taking him off. He's giving him a lot of game time to build up that confidence, So yeah, I really do hope it works out for him because, obviously we spent £3.5 million on him, and it's one of those ones where when Beale signed him, when you look at his goal scoring record, it's not very good, is it, for a striker? But he's the type of player who's not your normal striker, where he actually likes to get involved in the build-up play, assists and all that kind of stuff. But for that, so I know this might not go down well, but I do believe Lammers will come good. It's a bold statement, but I do believe he will.
Well, we certainly hope he does because, that's kind of what we need. We need players to be doing well. To be fair, I did think last night was his worst performance under Clement, but he has kind of upturned his performances a wee bit since Clement's came in. Then again, everyone else has as well. So, yep. I don't want to be getting too carried away about him. I do think there is ability there with him, but you hit the nail on the head. It's the end product. Seen a comment on Twitter that said he would Cruyff turn himself into a fire. That is kind of what sums a guy up. Do you know what I mean? He can do a brilliant wee shimmy, a wee move here, there, and then he can fall on his backside for whatever reason. He needs to get that right. And to be fair to him, last night he dug in a wee bit. I think he was raging that he never get booked for the first challenge that he made because he just missed the player. But then 20 seconds later, he went right back in the same guy, took him out, got the booking. So fair play to him for doing that. Do you know what I mean? It was a different side to Lammers that I was glad to see. But I think long term it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lammers, Scott, because I know a lot of people are saying that Cantwell's best positions. The one that Lammers is playing just behind the striker, I tend to agree with that as well. But also we've got Tom Lawrence coming back. I would imagine Lammers will probably start Sunday because I can't see Tom Lawrence starting. Just him coming back and then obviously the surface and whatnot. So Lammers will probably be in again on Sunday. I think long term though, it'll be very interesting to see what actually happens to him. In terms of the group, obviously it was it's a win that's put us in pole position to qualify, Scott. After that draw in Prague, it was quite simple. You win your last 2 home games and you go through. We're 50% of the way there. Clermont wasn't getting too carried away about the Aris game at home. Obviously, we're all going into that expecting not just to win it, but to win it comfortably. And I think we should be expecting to win it comfortably. But what I like about the manager is he's firmly got, his feet on the ground in terms of saying, we're just focused on this game on Sunday. And there's actually still 2 games left to play in this group. It's not just a case of you beat Aris and that's it. We've got 2 more games left in this group, and each of them are equally as important as the other.
Yeah, no, 100%. You're 100% right there, Craig. And that's the thing I really like about Clermont, where he's not getting too carried away, carried away whatsoever. And when I was at the press conference last month, right, he's got a real aura about him, a real presence. We were saying it just off air as well. Like last night when he was doing the post-match interview, the size of the guy as well, like the size of him compared to like McCoist and Derek McInnes, like he's just got that real intimidating aura, right? And we've not had that in a long time. That's, and obviously as well, he's no, like, I remember, like, just to be a bit off topic, I was watching a Todd Cantwell interview, right? He was talking about Michael Beale, and he was basically saying, yeah, Michael Beale would like text him and say, oh, you want to go for a coffee, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you don't want that from a manager. Just like, you don't want your manager to be your pal, and obviously Clermont, you can tell Clermont is the type of guy that's not going to be cozying up to the players. It's just straight business. That's it. And like, I love that as well. Like, he's not getting too carried away. And you see the way he handles post-match interviews and press conferences. It's sublime, isn't it? He just knows how to handle questions. And whereas obviously before with the previous manager, Michael Beale, we wouldn't think before he spoke, and it would just be utter drivel. It would come out his mouth. Whereas Clermont, he's very professional, says how it is, and he enjoys the odd swear word as well. So no, he's ruthless. And as I said at the start of the show, I'm not getting too carried away, but the signs are very, very promising, and I think we potentially want to watch here with Clermont.
No, certainly. Hopefully it's a nice Belgian one. I'm just thinking, what is it? What is it with Rangers managers, recent Rangers managers and coffee? You've got the last Rangers managers wanting to take their players out for coffee. Had the one before that going out with the Celtic manager for coffee. I can't imagine Big Phil, or Dr. Phil as my dad calls him, going out like asking Desslers or Lammers or whatever, or do you fancy going down to Starbucks for a wee latte or something like that? There's just no way that's happening. But you're right, the guy, for me, it's professionalism, and it's something that's been badly missing at the club for a very, very long time. Probably since the latter stages of Gerrard, the last season a bit of Gerrard. But to be fair to Gerrard, I think he carried standards with him throughout his whole time, but obviously we've seen the fruits of that in the last season. You mentioned it there, Ellen. I wanted to talk about this topic as a whole. VAR. First of all, the Danilo goal yesterday, thought it was very harsh. For me, it's a coming together. When you zoom it down and into minuscule, myopic details, yes, he technically does clip the back of the guy's foot, but for me, what is the threshold for a clear and obvious error? The referee is right in front of that. He can see it clearly. I think in those positions, and when it comes to VAR, I think the referee should have the guts to just turn around and say, look, I've seen it with my own eyes, clear as anything. I'm not going to the monitor. I'm sticking to my decision. Because weirdly as well, right, it took the guy about 20 seconds to make his decision when he went to the monitor. But in the first 2 angles that we were shown on the TV, it doesn't look like a foul at all. It's only the third or the fourth angle that you get where it's zoomed right in. So, it was really weird how quickly he made the decision. And, we'll talk about the Celtic manager's comments on VAR earlier on today in a wee bit. But, there are a lot of things wrong with VAR, and I just think that goal yesterday, for me, it's very, very harsh. But then again, I suppose harsh is still technically the law, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's like, no, I agree. I thought it was very soft. Because at the time, when I was at the stadium, when they went in, I was like, what's he going to VAR for, right? I was so confused. Then obviously I watched it back and I was like, come on, like, the game's gone mad if that's a foul. Like, obviously we've seen it with, obviously, the Old Firm game a couple months ago with Dessers. never a foul in a million years. But obviously, as you said about Brendan Rodgers and his comments saying he would get rid of VAR, but he wasn't really saying much after the Roof's goal got wrongly chopped off in the Old Firm game last month. But for me, I'm an advocate of VAR. Like, the genie's out the bottle now. It's going to be in the game forever. They're not going to get rid of it. So it's just really about the I would say it's just one thing that really annoys about VAR is just like the time it takes to make these decisions, right? We've seen it during the week in this Chelsea Spurs game as well. It's just how long it takes, and it's just so tedious. Where they've got the people in charge of VAR, they've got all these angles, right? It should just take no more than a minute. But yeah, that obviously I'm for it, and I think it's here to stay. It's the right thing to have, but it just needs to be utilised better. It does, and yeah, it is frustrating. Like, the fact that obviously over the last couple of weeks or so, it's been getting a lot of criticism, and obviously some of it has been justified. But yeah, just Brendan Rodgers' comment just baffled me about it. Because he wasn't complaining after the Old Firm game, but all of a sudden Celtic get a doing against Atletico Madrid, and he's embarrassed by the result, right? He's totally embarrassed, so he's trying to make excuses by saying, basically the only reason they lost was because of that. Because obviously the referees, obviously that decision during the week, but it's just, and obviously that's the thing, as we all know, when it comes to certain decisions not going Celtic's way, you'll see the usuals in the media, like your Chris Suttons and that, like piping up and trying to make a big deal about it, and it's just putting unnecessary pressure on referees and that. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not going to change, Craig, is it?
Well, the thing that really confuses me about Brendan Rodgers' comments about, I would just scrap VAR completely. What version of VAR is he talking about, right? Because I think everyone agrees the fact that it's a watered-down version of VAR that we've got in Scotland. I think, regardless of what team you support, I think we can all kind of accept that, right? So if your argument is that you want to streamline or improve Scottish VAR, fair enough. I don't think anyone's going to complain. The problem with Brendan Rodgers' comments is he isn't talking about Scottish VAR, the watered-down version of VAR. He is talking about VAR at elite level, the biggest competition in the planet in terms of club football. That decision, it didn't happen. It's not a decision that's went against them in Scotland. So that's what baffles me about it. And I think you want to compare two decisions in Celtic games. You've got the one last week against Ross County, which is pretty similar to the challenge on Tuesday. The guy goes in, gets a booking initially, it goes to the monitor, and it's upgraded to a red. Again, and I can understand people thinking it's harsh. It probably is, but it's one of those ones like the Danilo one. It's still technically the letter of the law. And I think if you want to come out and say we want to improve or we want to streamline it, fair enough. But just coming out and saying, we should get rid of it, literally just because your team get cuffed again in Europe, it's just bonkers. They are talking about a guy here who's literally the worst manager in Champions League history, just trying to make excuses. And it's not just him, it's obviously their whole support as well. Yeah, ironically as well, VAR's only been used twice in Old Firm games ever, and in both times it's wrongly disallowed Rangers a goal that could have potentially had a big swing on a title race. So stop with your conspiracy theory nonsense, please, guys. But generally, I just think, I thought that was a wee bit harsh last night, but again, letter of the law and all that. But I do think we could find a way of streamlining it. In terms of how we can look to improve VAR in Scotland, what measures do you think we could take to improve that and just the overall standard of refereeing, really?
I would say, first of all, obviously, I think the referees need to go under, they do a lot more training with VAR. I think that's obvious, right? Because I spoke to Davy Martindale about this, right? And he's for VAR. But it's just, as I said, it's the time it takes. It's like, if they've got all these angles, why does it need to take 4 or 5 minutes for a decision to be made? So that's what I think. Obviously, I think it's an easy one, right? But obviously, we need to see the referees in Scotland. They need to be full time, mate. They need to be full time. Like, the fact that we're still got part-time referees in the elite of, I'm not saying Scottish football is elite, of course, but at the top end of Scottish football is embarrassing. The fact that they're all part-time still. And it's not right. The fact that obviously the referees need to be full-time training, obviously more full-time training with VR as well. And obviously, see if the referees don't have that, if they don't go full-time, the poor standard of officiating in Scotland is always going to continue. And obviously we can harp on about how bad the refereeing is, but it's always going to be the case until they're full time. You know, and obviously it's not like, and obviously when you look at the top of Scottish football, and obviously I'm just digging in a bit deeper here, but the fact that we've still got like people like Neil Doncaster running our game, and look at the TV deals in that with Sky, it's pitiful, right? It's absolutely pitiful. Like we get peanuts, so we do from Sky, and it's not going to change unless. Obviously, we need to get the top end of Scottish football at the hierarchy sorted, and then that's the only way we'll actually start to see change. But in terms of like, I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, about get foreign referees in," but like obviously I would prefer actually us to work on our own referees. I would much prefer us to develop our own referees, make them full time, and then that's the only way it's going to get better. Because if we don't do that, it's not going to change.
No, I completely agree. I mean, in terms of the sort of wider picture of it, obviously that Danilo goal, thankfully, never had a bearing on the outcome of the game. You know, any win would have done last night. It wasn't like 2 years ago where we had to win by 2 clear goals. A single goal win done it for us last night. As I say, obviously it puts us in pole position to go through it. Now, one thing that I brought up a couple of times, and I'll do it again because obviously you're new to the pod, Scott, so you've not really had a chance to voice your opinion on this. This whole sort of Europa League, Champions League debate. Now, I think a lot of Rangers fans, I'd probably say the majority, would rather be in the Europa League, go on an extended run than be in the Champions League. And they'll just say, well, look at last season, look at Celtic this year, and the coffins that you're going to take. For me, I always want to be in the Champions League because it's elite level. I don't think we should be going into these games scared of getting battled off teams. I think we should have, go in with your heads held high, try and put in the best performance you can, roll your sleeves up, don't moan about things and get things done. But also as well, the thing for me is now, I'm not going to sit here and complain, right, if we end up in Dublin next May, okay? Absolutely not. However, history tells you, if you get to the UEFA Cup or Europa League final, you don't win the league. It's happened 3 times now. Celtic in 03, us in 08, and us in 2022 as well. Normally as well, if you have an extended run in Europe, how's that going to impact, for me, the league, which I think this year is the main priority now. It's still going to be very difficult, but it's still in our hands. If we win the rest of our games 1-0, we still win the league. This title race, for me, is not over yet by a long way. But like I'm saying, it's the whole, how does Europe affect that title race? Because you look at Celtic, right? Let's be honest, they're going to be finishing bottom of that group now. You see how they struggle normally after a European game, and you see it when they put in that great performance, to be fair to them, against Atletico at home. They go to Hibs and they drop points. Everything's flat because it's just a massive come down that they've got coming for that big game. We Thursday to Sunday. Celtic have only going to have 2 more match days like that. We're going to have at least another 2. You're probably talking about another 2, maybe even 4, 6 after Christmas. So for me, whilst it is great to have these runs in Europe, I'm still a wee bit wary about how it's going to impact us domestically this season, especially when you factor in all the injuries that we've got as well.
Yeah, see, obviously, so what you said there at the start there about what would you rather be in the Champions League or Europa League? Champions League all day long, like our Rangers Football Club. We need to be at the top of the top, But in terms of like how will our European success affect domestically, it is what it is. See if we need to go into every game wanting to win it. I'm not in the mindset of I hope we go out to Europe, so that means we'll have a better chance of winning the league. I want us to win everything. I want us to win absolutely everything. But in terms of how far I think we'll go in Europe this season, I think probably maybe last 16. All depends on the draw as well, because you obviously you've got some big hitters in the Europa League this year, Liverpool, etc. But I just want us to go into every game and win it. I'm not in the mindset of thank God we're out in Europe, now let's focus on the league. No, I want to see if we make Dublin and we miss out in the league. That's what it is. That's the thing though. If we were to make Dublin then win the Europa League but miss out in the league, you'd much rather the Europa League, let's be honest, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, I mean if you were guaranteed to win it, it's just we'll pass record in finals anyway. It would be great to get to another final, but I don't think my heart could take another one and lose another one. But then again, they say third time's a charm, so.
And can I say as well, Craig, so obviously I was gutted we didn't make the Champions League, but that's one thing that annoyed me so much being Rangers fans. I just imagine we did get in there and we would have got back here. I think so. If we got the Champions League, we'll be we would have got like 20-30 million quid, right? And obviously Celtic are getting battered in Europe now, right? But obviously they're 20-30 million quid ahead of us now. So that's the thing, though. Even if we made the Champions League and we got battered, we're like, yeah, it's what it is, right? But we've got 30 million quid in the bank, So yeah, of course, Europa League is obviously our playground, and I think that is our level. And I'm enjoying the European nights and that, but obviously I would much rather be in the Champions League, mate. Let's be honest. I much prefer that. And obviously, if we did get through, we would have got, I think it was Arsenal, Seville, and I'm not sure. Yeah. So it's like, look at that group.
I don't think that group would have been as hard as people might have made it. I
agree. Yeah.
I think Seville and Lons, I think would have been reasonable. I don't know if I could have gone back to the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, to be fair, but aye, as you say, it is what it is. But I think we're in a good position now. Obviously, we should be qualifying from this group. That was the aim, to get at least second place. I still think we can get top spot. We've already beaten Betis. I didn't think they were anything great against us. They're going to be facing a much better Rangers team. So I think, minimum second place now anyway. But
you're going to Betis, aren't you? You're going to Betis, yeah?
Yes, I will be. So
I couldn't go through that, mate. I've still got PTSD from Seville, man. I couldn't do it.
To be fair, I'm just going to avoid like the whole Sevilla Stadium part and just hang with the rest of the city. To be fair, I only went through in the day, so I'm just going to avoid that sort of we thing, so I don't need to put up with the PTSD. But no, it will be good to go to a different stadium, and hopefully we can get the job done then. Speaking about getting jobs done, we did it last week against Hearts, pretty comfortable in the end, obviously winning 3-1 through to a cup final. And we get the wonderful news this week that we're going to be getting 25,000 tickets at Hampden, despite the great protests of Aberdeen and Dave Cormack et al. It's an argument that for me is getting boring, but we need to talk about it, don't we? Because it comes up, weirdly enough, it comes up more when it's Rangers involved into it. They do kind of have a wee grumble if they're in a final against Celtic, but it's only when it's against us that it makes, statement territory and stuff like that. At the end of the day, I think the allocation's pretty fair. 19,500 Aberdeen fans. The capacity of Pittodrie is 20,000 that they can't even sell out anyway. I think they've got about 10,000 season ticket holders. Every single Aberdeen season ticket holder, every single Aberdeen fan that was at the Hibs game, not that there was many, will get a ticket. I don't understand what their problem is. For me, Scott, it's more about, rewarding fans, I think, because, your team gets to a cup final. I think if you support your club through all the rounds, you deserve the best possible opportunity to get a ticket to the final. We know it's not going to be possible all the time, but for me, there's going to be Rangers fans there that have been to every round in the cup, including at Hampden, paid lots of money, that are going to be missing out on a ticket to a cup final because a guy for Dice wants to support Aberdeen for the first time in 5 years, even though he can't be bothered going down to Pittodrie normally. For me, that type of behaviour shouldn't be tolerated. We boast in Scotland about having, the most highest attended games per head of population or whatever in Europe. Why do we want to reward the people that don't go to the football? These guys are paying their money in, week out. They're going to lose out to people that don't want to go to support their team normally. For me, I think it's a nonsensical argument. Give tickets to the fans that are actually going to go and actually deserve to be there, in my opinion.
Oh, no, you hit the nail on the head there, Craig. You're absolutely spot on. That's the thing, though, with Aberdeen fans. The only games they actually turn up for, at Pittodrie, is against Rangers and Celtic. That's it. When you look at the other games as well, the place is half empty. So, it also, the Aberdeen fans, should it be a 50-50 split? Absolutely not. Because that's the thing, though, Rangers will sell their one out, right? And if it was 50-50, could you even trust Aberdeen fans to even sell out the full allocation? I don't think
they'll sell out the one that they've got anyway.
Right. So I think the one that obviously the allocation they've got just now is absolutely fair. 110% is absolutely fair, So, but yeah, you just summed up perfectly, Craig. Because that's the thing, when you look at Pittodrie, when I'm watching Sports Scene, right, they've got a home game, place is barely, it's completely empty half the time, and I'm just that's embarrassing. I would say the only fans, see if it was Rangers and Hearts in the final, I could maybe trust. You can maybe trust Hearts, right, to sell out their full allocation, right? You can be like, okay, Hearts, like they do have a decent home support, and you'd be like, oh, that's the only. I'll be like, okay, that's the only one I would like consider entertaining if it was a 50-50 split. I'll be like, okay, that's fair enough. But Hibs, Aberdeen, absolutely no chance. And obviously, I'm seeing it on social media just now saying it's a disgrace, all this kind of stuff, but. No, it's 110% the right allocation the way it is just now.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a disgrace when it's Rangers that's involved in it. But no, I mean, just generally, I think like the sort of behaviour of some people, it's very petty, it's small-minded. It kind of just sums up the petulance, I think, of Scottish football. And for me, there's a lot of clubs like your Hibs, your Aberdeens, Dundee Uniteds that sort of masquerade themselves as big clubs, but in reality, they aren't big clubs. As I say, I don't understand why people are so hell-bent on trying to reward fans that don't go to games. It's like the whole thing. I think ideally, right, a final should be a 50-50 split, right? The issue for me that I've got is, why should Aberdeen even be given the chance to have a 50-50 split when time and time again, they don't sell out Pittodrie, they don't sell out their allocations at Hampden, and, in terms of a sort of operational point of view for the SPFL and the sponsors and policing and whatnot, they need to know by a certain period of time what the attendance is going to be at that stadium, how many fans are going to be there from either side, where they're going to be sitting, etc., because, Rangers and Aberdeen fans don't have a very nice history with each other, so there is a small potential for trouble. There's likely maybe going to be some barriers up and stuff like that, like you get at Ibrox. So from a policing perspective, Aberdeen just couldn't just say, all right, there's an extra 5,000 tickets for Rangers fans like a week before the final, when, okay, Rangers fans will sell out, fair enough, but think about the police. They might need to replan routes, they might need to go and look at rehiring staff and all that, which in the end, only person that costs money is the taxpayer. So from an operational point of view, Scott, also that whole thing of, let's just give them 50-50, and if they don't, just send it back. For me, I just don't see how that can work either.
You absolutely nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Yeah, so it's like, as I was saying, you don't know if you can you actually, that's what I'm saying, can you even trust them to sell out their allocation? No, you can't. So obviously they've done, obviously I was criticising our governing bodies earlier on the show, but they're spot on with this one, mate. They're absolutely spot on, because there needs to, like, the allocation is correct. It's the right thing to do. Whereas, see if it was like an Old Firm final, of course it needs to be a 50-50 split. But yeah, you summed up perfectly, mate. It's the right thing to do.
No, absolutely. We've got a game on Sunday, another big one, Livi away. I'll be there. It'll be interesting. I don't mind Livi. It's a decent away day. To be fair, it's obviously the only ticket that you're going to get in my jersey nowadays, isn't it? Ironically, the tickets came out, I think, earlier for the Aberdeen game next, in a couple of weeks of us one after the international break. So good luck to everyone in that ballot. I hope everyone that got one's absolutely proud of themselves. And if you're selling a ticket, you know where I am on Twitter. Just send me a message, please. Thank you. But it's a big game on Sunday, a double header. Celtic are at home to Aberdeen as well. We've got the chance to cut the gap kind of for an hour or two down to 5 points, which I suppose net after the games in hand are taken out, it probably should be anyway. It's going to be a tough game, Scott. In terms of the starting 11 changes, for me, I'd probably bring Yilmaz back in. I thought Barisic was pretty poor in last night, so I would bring Yilmaz back in, give him a bit of game time. Balogun back in, maybe, don't know. I wouldn't mind Davies, but I would be happy to go with Balogun. I think he's been good. Apart from that, I think it'll probably be the same the rest of the way around. What about you in terms of selection for Sunday?
Obviously, I agree about Yilmaz. I think it's good, obviously, with Barisic and Yilmaz. It's good to actually rotate them quite a bit. And but Balogun, I would bring him in. I think, obviously, when we did sign Balogun in the summer, I was content with it. I don't think he should have left us a couple of years ago. But I would say Balogun definitely, he had a great showing against Dundee, by the way. Obviously, for I think it was our first goal, it was where he just bombed forward. I thought he was absolutely terrific. But I think, see, for these kind of games, playing Livi away from home in that plastic pitch, I think Balogun he's got the experience and he's perfect for these kind of games. I would actually like to see young Ross McCausland get a wee showing as well, because he's been featuring quite a bit since Clement's came in, and I think he's got huge potential. He's quick on the ball. His delivery's pretty good as well, and I think he'll be, like, for these kind of games, I think McCausland will be perfect. So I would start him as well. And but like, obviously, I will say this as well about Ben Davies and Goldson. See, their partnership since Clement came in, it's been brilliant. Like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, but I think we've only conceded, I think, one or two goals since Clement came in. Am I right in saying that?
Well, actually, up until that Sparta Prague player scored last night, Lauren Shanklin was the only person to have scored against. I free. Yeah, so it just escaped me there, because obviously Shanklin scored the penalty at Hampden, then obviously the goal, he scored against us at Ibrox. But yeah, defensively we've been really organised, and one thing I've noticed as well with our defence, they're actually talking to each other. There's proper communication there. And obviously in there as well, Goldson and Davies really solid in there together. And obviously in the summer I wrote Ben Davies off, mate, I really did, but since Clement came in, he's been very good. He's been very impressive. But defensively, we look well organised. And yeah, I wouldn't really change too much, but I would like to see Balogun and Yilmaz come in. And obviously, Yilmaz has been quite impressive, but he's another one as well. Like, his final ball's pretty bad. He needs to improve in that. Like, he's quick and he's good going forward, but he needs to work on his delivery. But I wouldn't change too much. But in terms of Todd Cantwell, he's never started like a game like playing on a plastic pitch. So for me, if he doesn't start, then I think that will be Clement being very cautious and wary, because obviously Cantwell's not long came back from an injury, and we all know how brutal these plastic pitches are. So would I start Cantwell at the weekend? I would actually start him, but I wouldn't play him the full 90 minutes. I'll play him probably till the 60th minute or so, because Cantwell's obviously got the goal last night, had a great game, so we need to build on that confidence as well. So yeah, I would start Cantwell, but I wouldn't really change too much. Shout out to Ross McCausland last night, by the way. I thought it was excellent. A couple of really great balls for it. Just a shame that none of them could be finished off, unfortunately. But he looks a real deal. So fair play to him, actually, for coming in and sort of staking a place in the team, especially when you've got a new manager. You mentioned it there, Scott, with Cantwell, and that's something that I've noticed recently. When you actually think about it, we've played 2 games under plastic pitch conditions since Cantwell arrived to Rangers. The first one was February this year, 3-0 away to Livi. We won. He didn't start that game. He came off the bench. That was the week before the cup final, where he didn't start either. So Michael Beale couldn't really have used the excuse that he was starting him to rest him for the cup final, because he never played him in that either. Then the next game was obviously the unfortunate Kilmarnock defeat, the first game of the season. He never started him for that game either. So for me, if Cantwell doesn't start on Sunday, that is a cause for concern in terms of, is he actually able to play on these surfaces? Now, obviously, he might start and cool, my theory might all get blown out the water, but I think if that's 3 games in a row under 2 different managers where he's not starting on that surface, then that's bad. And that's a problem, because you've got Livi and Kilmarnock. You're going to go there at least 3 times a season, maybe 4, if Kilmarnock finish in the top 6. So, that's a lot of games. And Cantwell's one of the players that we need, to, like, he's a match winner. He's a guy that can change a game, in the toss of a coin. He's one of the only players in the team that's fit now and that can do that. So we need him to be playing in these games, and they're big games and they're tough games. And we've seen it a couple of years ago when we won the league. We went to Livi. I know we drew 0-0, but 1-1-0 the game on Morelos scored. We went to Kelly 1-1-0. We're keeping clean sheets at these venues, nailing down good results. You need to go to these places and win games ultimately to be lifting that trophy come May.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, these games are tough. They are very tough, especially on that surface where it's like so. Obviously, you hear players talk about it all the time. It's like it's really brutal to play on, and obviously, it's if you get an injury on that, sometimes it's very hard for certain players to come back from that. Like, for example, look at David Templeton. I think it was 10 years ago or so, where he got injured in that plastic pitch. I think it was at Annan, I think it was. And he pretty much was never the same player after that. So, obviously, even though I really don't like plastic pitches, sadly, they're here to stay. And it is what it is. But yeah, that's the thing. There'll be certain players like especially Todd Cantwell. I don't think you should be playing him for a full 90 minutes on these pitches. Yeah, definitely start him, and then once the game's like done and dusted, that's when you take him off. So yeah, if Cantwell, for example, was to get injured on Sunday, it would be a big concern, because if he does, then it'll be like when we go to like Kilmarnock and Livingston, it's like Cantwell's one of our best players. Like, sometimes you'll need to be thinking he can't start. You'll have to like bring him on from the bench. So yeah, that would be a huge concern. But yeah, the plastic pitches, I'm not a fan of them whatsoever, man. Not a fan.
No, definitely. It's going to be a tough one anyway. Livy on Sunday, as I say, it always is. But hopefully we can get the job done. Guys, we're live on YouTube this evening. Obviously, if you've just tuned in, you can rewind at any point and hear us from the start. We are also going to be available on all your usual podcast providers at some point tomorrow as well, if you fancy listening to it in your motor, in your spare time, or whatever it is that you do. And that will be us for tonight anyway. We've taken up a lot of your time on this Friday evening. Scott, what's your prediction then for Sunday?
I'm going to say Rangers will win 2-0. 2-0 Rangers.
I'll go for a 2-0 as well. I said we were going to win 2-0 last week against Hearts, and we won 3-1. And I said we were going to win 1-0 last night, and we won 2-1. So if I say we're going to win 2-0, we'll probably win 3-1. So I'd take a 3-1 anyway. A win's a win, but I think 2-0 as well. Hopefully
I'm going to go Danilo and Big Lammers. Danilo and Big Lammers. I'm holding out hope for Big Lammers, mate. He will come good. I'm going to put my neck in the line, and I believe he will come good. I know that won't go down well, but I believe there's a player in there, mate. There is a player there.
Well, hopefully there is. I'll say 2-0 Danilo, and a wee cheeky penalty. That would be good. We love a penalty. We love a penalty, Rangers.
They actually love it in the Rangers Twitter. They always go penalty to Rangers, and then you just see the usual people reply and saying typical, all raging. It's brilliant.
It's usual, but a wee penalty on Sunday wouldn't go amiss. Just a shame that David Dickinson isn't the referee. But no, Scott, thanks very much. Obviously, it's been your debut tonight. How have you found it? It's been good, yeah.
I loved it. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to being on many more shows in the future. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, it's been brilliant. We'll be back on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, at 9:30 to review that Livingston game. It'll be John hosting with Colin and Rob on Sunday at 9:30. So that's it for this evening, guys. Great result last night, and hopefully we can get the job done on Sunday. Bye for now, guys. Have a great weekend.